This dog looked out the hatch every time he went for a walk. Its owner had no idea why until she opened it and was shocked by what was inside. In a small, quiet town in Turkey, there lived a beautiful and intelligent German shepherd named Axel. He was very good, and he liked being seen in the neighborhood. When his mistress took him for a walk, people would often stop and pet him. But one day, for a strange reason, these quiet walks changed. One evening, when Irina was walking her dog, Axel suddenly stopped a few shops away from the butcher shop. He began to bark, his attention fixed on the hatch. He barked so loudly that the people nearby were frightened. Irene didn't understand. Why was her German shepherd acting so strangely? He barked and barked at the ravine and refused to move on. After many attempts to get him to walk, Axel finally followed his master and left the ravine behind. Irina was relieved and happy that her dog was back to normal. After this incident, they went home. Irina continued to worry about her dog's unusual behavior. She told her husband Ronnie what happened. Without being there, he couldn't imagine how shocking his behavior must be. He told Irene not to worry. Axel probably saw a small rodent in the hatch and was overjoyed. This answer did not satisfy Irina very much. But she still felt like she should let go of the situation and didn't think about the situation anymore. The next morning, they again went for a walk around the neighborhood. This time, Irina paid special attention as they went through the same drain. This time, the dog did not bark. Instead, he sat in the middle of the street next to the sewer. For several minutes, he stared down the drain without moving an inch. Irina was once again struck by the strange behavior of her dog. She tried to peer into the sewers from where she stood, but she couldn't see anything. After she made Axel stand up, they went home. This behavior continued for 3 days, and whenever she took Axel for a walk, he would stop at the ravine and look down. He sat and watched. One evening, Irina was again walking along the usual route with her dog. The animal happily ran alongside its owner as they walked to the butcher shop. This time, Axel only stopped briefly by the canal, but he didn't stop. When they arrived at the butcher shop, Irina happily bought Axel his favorite sausages. However, when she opened the package to feed him, the dog did something he had never done before. Axel was an obedient dog and knew how to behave. Therefore, when he grabbed a pack of sausages and ran away, Irina was surprised and let out a cry of horror. Since there were few people on the street, chasing her fast dog was difficult. She began to pursue him, and when she finally found him, she couldn't believe her eyes. Axel returned to the same drain. He sat by the ravine and still had the sausages in his mouth. He didn't eat them, but instead started throwing the sausages down the drain. What happened to this dog? Interested in what caused the unusual behavior of her dog, Irina quietly approached this place. But even from this vantage point, she couldn't see anything. After her dog dumped all the sausage into the hatch, the woman squatted down and looked carefully at the hatch. What she then saw shocked her. She did not expect such a sight. Without hesitation, Irina took out her mobile phone and called the fire department. About 15 minutes later, emergency services arrived at the scene. The firemen asked Irina to describe the situation to them and decided to immediately open the ravine. But there was a problem. Near the ravine stood none other than Axel. He growled menacingly at the firemen, clearly warning them to call him back. The assistants didn't know what to do. Finally, with Irina's help, they were able to calm the animal down and move it a few feet away from the ravine so the firefighters could work in peace. Firefighters retrieved several extraction tools and quickly removed the metal rods blocking the storm drain. After the drain cover was removed, firefighters were able to take a closer look at the inside of the drain. Meanwhile, several people had gathered around the scene. They all watched the behavior of the dog and wondered why. After several minutes of silent waiting, the firemen finally revealed what Axel was looking at and what he was protecting. The firemen climbed into the sewer and pulled something out. It was alive. Everyone jumped in shock when he told them what it was. Tiny kitten, no more than a few weeks old. Surprisingly, the story didn't end there. The fireman went down the drain 4 more times. Each time his hand was raised, he had a small kitten the same size and age as the first time. All the spectators were so shocked that they gasped every time the fireman raised his hand. Irina was also surprised. She saw 2 kittens in the sewers. It was a surprise to her that there were 4 of them. The poor kittens were stuck in a ravine for 3 days until they were discovered by Axel. They were hypothermic, exhausted, and very weak. The babies were taken directly to the veterinarian, who examined the animals. They were then placed in an animal shelter. How the kittens got to this place, it was not possible to find out. Perhaps they were washed into the canal during heavy rain. Dear friends, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe to the channel for more.